of any society is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
The smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
No man is big enough for
Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Won't stand still.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Donna joining me in the studio bright and early this morning. How are you, Donna?
I'm not sure my mic is on.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, well, I am doing, it's been quite the week. It's been
Yes.
one.
And then we have Maria joining us virtually on the Le Zoom. How are you this morning, Maria? Maria. All right, we'll come back to Maria. Okay, so what would you like to talk about today, Miss Davis?
I'm here.
Oh, there's Maria. Hi, how are you, Maria?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fine, thank you. I left my phone at home and didn't realize it till I was like almost out of my complex, and it's like, I'm going back old school, when we didn't used to have phones in our pockets 24/7.
I can't hear myself in my headphones. I can't hear you guys.
You can't turn up your dial.
I did.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know what to tell you then. You can't hear us at all?
Nope, I can only hear you talking here in the
All right,
studio.
here comes Frank. He's going to fix you. All right. So, Donna, what would you like to talk about this morning?
Everything, all of the things.
All of the things.
Okay, so I like to talk about the fire drill that our president did this week. Our king, I should say.
Yeah, King Trump.
King Trump. Getting everybody all upset about the possibility of nutrition benefits, Social Security payments that are coming up here tomorrow. The Medicaid systems went down. There was a mad scramble. I do not believe our president understands how his country works. I actually saw a billionaire with, he looked really strange. He probably had a lot of stuff done to his face. Mm-hmm. But he was smiling still with his toupee, and he was talking about how he's a billionaire. He talked about how he had worked as a young person and had worked his way up, and that this is an opportunity to explore child labor, the free lunch program, and that kids shouldn't just sit at home and get their free lunch, that they should get out and explore opportunities in the marketplace to earn. And the anchor said, "Are you serious?" We're talking about Head Start. A lot of these kids are like under 5.
Right.
He says, well, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. He sounded so slow. Like he really just sounded like he didn't apprehend.
Which billionaire was this? Because I want to meet the billionaire that self-made themselves.
The other thing, before we move on to what Maria thinks we should be talking about, because I'm going to stop myself because there's so much and I have to forget there's someone else that's waiting to speak. And I just got to say that, you know what? I'm gonna punt this to Maria. I'm going to sit down. I'm standing up. I'm going to sit down.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I was looking for a Julia
I wanted to hear the rest because, quite frankly, I mean, I'm astonished that people that stupid, because we always think that money is the measure of genius.
Yes.
And I just can't believe somebody that stupid. People actually think that he got there other than by the merits of the Lucky Sperm Club.
Right. Lucky Sperm Club. I like it. So yeah, she cut short her Julia Sugarbaker moment and punted over to you, Maria. So
Now, I want to hear the rest, though.
oh yeah.
You and I both want to hear the rest.
Yeah, we both want to hear the rest, Donna. So get back up and do your thing.
Okay, so Elon Musk was an illegal immigrant. His brother told that story, that there was he called it a gray area. The people in the comments on Instagram said by gray he meant white area. Which I'm sure all of our people who love our immigrant members of our community got a kick out of that one. Then there is the outcry in the Latino community. Of course, we're all empathetic. And it's not just the Latino community. We are a community. Like, people are parts of our society, and they are friends and our neighbors and our coworkers and our church members. And they're being dragged away, from our arms and our faces. But there was a Afro-Latino man who, I posted this on my page, the Donna L. Davis page, that he wanted to talk about how the anti-Blackness in the Latin community and how the birthright citizenship and other rights were granted in the Civil Rights Act. And he said, we spit in the face of the hard work of our African-American brothers and sisters by going off script, and they've separated us from each other. And it is the only thing, aside from the abject failure of the Democratic Party, which I will not go into. Abject failure that made this thing that's before us now, this visage of grief and agony and angst, which is a German word. My German Qigong teacher told me. And angst was the word of the week.
Angst.
She says, you know the word. I said, yes, I do. And we're having it collectively. And the thumb in the nose, to African Americans in the 60s and before, whose work led up to the Civil Rights Act. And now all of that is gone for now. Now, I do not believe for 1 second that we're going to stay in this space that we're in. I don't believe it. I think the midterms are going to bring Christmas because he is off script, doesn't understand what's happening, got plane crashing into the Potomac. People are blaming him for that.
Yeah. Well, it was his helicopter that hit it, so.
It was Pete Hegseth's helicopter. And listen, we're not laughing at 64 souls departing the realm, but his presence in D.C., the presence of these Republicans in D.C. lends itself to chaos. Now, I could accuse myself of deep partisanship if it weren't pure chaos.
Yeah.
It's pure chaos.
It is.
And we're touching on things that have been codified and enshrined in our Constitution for hundreds of years. We're going after basic civil rights.
Right.
And now these people are starting to understand. And you know what? My boss, the guy who owns the firm that I work for, he said, I have the flu and I'm not in the office, and you got to break government so that voters understand. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
It is so much. I mean, I am so disgusted with the Democratic Party right now that I am going to switch my affiliation to a third party. And I don't care if I'm throwing my vote away. I am switching because I cannot co-sign this inept leadership, so-called leadership anymore. All right. So If you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. All right. With the Julia Sugarbaker moment over, we now go to Maria. And what are we talking about from your side of the world, Maria?
We're talking about the same things, but I want to touch on the immigration thing because that's what I was so disgusted about last week. Can we have a moment of attention around the idea that people really do not understand what immigration to this country really is,
Yes.
and how we have different rules for different people.
Would you please?
And
Yes.
I don't even know. I mean, so when people come on this show and they start talking about the quote unquote right way,
Yeah.
which is the right way? Okay, because there are so many ways.
Right.
You can't tell me which is the right way. And it's not that we did not cause the mass migration to this country by creating untenable solutions in their country.
Right.
Like we want to control other and you know what? The UK is the same way. The UK Brexit is the reason why the reason why the UK has Brexit or voted for Brexit is they thought that it was going to control their immigration problem. It has not. And the primary reason that they voted for it was xenophobia. And they do not understand that when you run around the world and you want to colonize other places, those people have a right to come and set up wherever they feel that they have the best opportunity.
Okay.
You don't like it. You don't like it when you do it,
Right.
right?
Exactly. But anyway, so now it's so there are so many things that are just, it's like Donna said, it's pure chaos right now because Trump is signing all these executive orders that are clearly violating the Constitution to the point where Reagan appointee judges are saying, oh, hell no. And so it's like some of it is just theater. Because you notice, and as I very well put on everybody knows who listens that I follow my hometown's Facebook page, and it's filled with Trump voters and miscellaneous racists. But I found this meme and it was perfect. And so I went and I put it in there, and it's like, it's a picture of an elderly lady counting stacks and stacks and stacks of money, and it says, here are the grocery owners counting their money because Trump didn't sign an executive order day one.
You know what bothers me a little bit is, you know that Trump sued Meta for revoking shutting down his pages after J6. Okay, so I think yesterday there was a mediation, and now Meta, along with its CEO Mark Zuckerberg, the infamous, says he will pay $25 million to Donald Trump.
Yep.
$22 million of which will go to the Trump Library. and now Trump and library should not be in the same sentence. This guy does not read books at all. And
how many volumes of Hop on Pop are you going to have in one spot?
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
So what this is said to be by some people who are thinking about it is a pay to play for Zuckerberg.
Of course.
Because Zuckerberg said he wanted to do something, and Trump says, well, we can't continue that conversation until we settle my lawsuit. Zuckerberg thought he was going to get away with simply giving $1 million to the inauguration fund, because he did. But he says, no, we've got to settle this. So Zuck went down to Mar-a-Lago, and they had a full-day mediation, during which Trump stepped away. I'm reading this off the page in my mind, okay?
Yeah.
Trump stepped away to take a call. Oh, he stepped away to be sentenced. He stepped away to be sentenced for the bribery case, right, with Stormy case, and came back wearing golf clothes, talking about the putts that he just, the game he just played.
Yeah.
Totally not taking any of this seriously.
Right.
So he has successfully sued ABC. He successfully sued Mark Zuckerberg. I'm sure there's more litigation for people who said bad things about him.
Sure.
But he stepped away from negotiating a $25 million settlement because they took his platform after he tried to overthrow the government.
Right.
And he has been rewarded with more money than most people 99.9% of people will see in a lifetime. Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, now we got a lit up.
We do,
here.
and they're going to hold on for a moment because we're going to give them more food for thought.
Okay.
So the question on the table is: we've read all of the headlines, we know all of this stuff is happening. My question is: how are we going to survive Trump? Two, the Democratic Party, without, I will concede nothing on this, is in an utter shambles, including locally, where I sat through as a guest a 4-hour meeting. The world is literally burning, right? Ask the people in California. The world is literally burning.
Yeah.
And they have 4 hours to try to throw someone out of the party for being an anti-Semitic person. Now, I do not take anti-Semitism nor Islamophobia lightly. However, I will say that since October 7, 2022, the bar for anti-Semitism has been any criticism of the Israeli state and the coals that they've heaped on the heads of people in Palestine, including saying they don't have a right to be there. Right? They've literally turned this thing into a colony. Trump is saying, take everybody out. He's here for the ethnic cleansing. And we've got time not to criticize any of that and how we lost an election and put millions upon millions of people in harm's way. We have time to litigate the words of someone who, whether or not I do not have any evidence one way or the other. But I will tell you, if what I have seen be branded as anti-Semitism, if it's along those lines, these people need to get a life, and they need to get it immediately, because people are literally dying. We don't know that people didn't die last night because of the ineptness in the U.S. military. People are literally dying. And if this, and I'm going to say it out loud, Vanessa Lester and your henchmen, if this is what you're going to do with your time, we have no use of it. And from my mouth to God's ears, that Ken Martin, whom I know and have worked with extensively over the last 5 years, become the leader of the DNC and call these people to order immediately, because Americans are dying.
Can I just second that? But I will say that this is the kind of time they like to waste in Palm Beach County as well.
Goodness.
So I can only imagine that they're wasting it all over this state. And if you want to name names, I said those exact words. Who is now the new vice chair of the Florida Democratic Party, Daniel Henry. I said to him that there has never been an occasion where he has not inserted chaos. If there is chaos to be had in Florida Democratic politics, he is at the center of it.
Okay.
So I rest.
Now you rest. Okay. So now let's go to Jack in Palm Harbor.
That whole thing made my eyeballs hurt.
Hi, Jack.
Morning, ladies.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well because I'm enjoying your show.
Oh, thank you,
My
Jack.
tirades.
Yeah, you're painting a collage of calamities today, and I'm just very, very much enjoying it.
Calamity collage.
So what's on your mind today, Jack?
Well, last night I was sitting with my sister. I would ask your listening audience to please say a prayer for her. She's in hospice right now with stage 4 cancer, lung cancer. But
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
it's the jewel of my life. She brings so much joy to me, and to see her, in that situation and to still have something to laugh about. So last night, she asked Lexus a lot of stuff. Lexus has become her best friend, and we were laughing about Donald Trump and his followers wanting to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yes.
So Patty calls Lexus or talks to Lexus and asks her, what is the value of one of the most expensive maps in the Smithsonian? And she came up with some absorbent amount, like $200 million or something. And so then we tried to ask Lexus, what would be the cost to change the name on that map to the Gulf of America? And Alexis just went on and on and on. Like, I could almost hear Donald Trump, trying to explain it, and yet there was no explanation.
Right.
So she never really came up with a dollar amount, but we just laughed and laughed and laughed. And I mean, that would be just the cost to change one map. Imagine trying to rewrite history, like, His Majesty Donald Trump, so that he could live a life with. And I think it's really not about money anymore. I think that with these billionaires and these 1%ers that are showing up, they want power.
Yes.
They want to just stand in front of everybody and say, we're going to pardon whoever we want. We're going to do whatever we want. To hell with everybody else. We don't care how many kids die of polio. We don't care how many people go overseas and die of malaria or whatever. And it's just like at some point you just have to laugh about it, I guess, and just live our own lives and not even worry anymore about what it is they can possibly do wrong.
Right. Well, thank you so much for calling this morning, Jack. We will keep your sister in our prayers.
Absolutely.
And thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
And see, people don't need this stuff. They're already dealing with life.
Right.
Just the things that life will deal you
It's
as a
hard
matter
enough
of course.
just to work all day and then come home and it's like, I don't want to cook. John in Port Richey. Hi, John.
Hey, thanks for the show. You mentioned about coming to the country the right way, and something I think we should challenge people on is when they say, there's all these illegal immigrants here, let's ask them to define what they mean by that, because I think they're just making a broad categorization of people here so they can just, use that to scare people. So I would like to ask them, what do they mean by illegal immigrants? Are they talking about people that just jumped the fence and just disappeared into this country? Or are they talking about people that crossed at a non-port of entry and claimed asylum and then they're here, which those would be legal immigrants and not illegal people? So I'd like them to define that. So when people start saying that, well, I don't care who they are. If they're a politician and they say, I want to deport illegal aliens, raise your hand and say, define those people for me. Who are they exactly?
John.
Give me your definition.
John, I think that those people are not thinking about the details of what you just described. I think you understand.
Correct.
This is rhetorical, right?
Right.
You are a smart fellow. You know that.
I don't know what you call it, but they're using words to get people emotional, to get them behind them. So they're using, and the conservatives do this all the freaking time, and nobody calls them out on that. Like, for example, I even heard this on NPR, and it really irked me off. They're saying that the Russians invaded Ukraine under Biden, and I'm like, wait a minute. What was that? So what was that $1 billion that Vice President Biden, was withholding from Ukraine, allegedly to stop an investigation into a son? Oh, that was to fight the Russians that already invaded Ukraine. So I listened to the conservative media say that, and it's like, you guys contradict yourself. You guys they just use rhetoric, that's the word I was looking for, to, like Vance said, we don't care if we lie as long as we get our point across. So we got to call them out on their lies.
Yes.
And I hope the people in media do that when people say, like, especially politicians say they're illegal or whatever rhetoric they use to rally their base.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, John.
Can I say something about what John just said?
Sure.
John is clearly an intelligent person, who reads and uses his gray matter to parse out what's happening in front of him. like most of our listeners, really smart people, they hold us accountable for the facts, getting it right, and will drag us if we don't,
Yes.
or if they don't like our tone. We've been here for years and years, and so, we've become accustomed to, that. I don't think that the majority of people that are following the jingoism and that are hopping on the bandwagon and I think the math goes like this. I think it says, too many brown people, America white.
Right.
Make America white again is kind of the math that they're using. Now, we know that the vast majority of our listeners, which is why we're still on the air, don't believe that, because if you did, we wouldn't be here. Right? We've been gone a long time ago. And clearly, this is WMNF listeners are not a monolith. Right. There are many people out there who vote Republican and who have more conservative beliefs. Right. The world has changed, and people are out there. We have a somewhat diverse audience. Having said that, you guys, when you are litigating what you're hearing and what people believe, and billionaire CEOs who say, hey, I started working when I was 13, let's give child labor a chance. If a kid needs a free lunch, let him go to work, right? When you hear that sort of thing, these people's brains, literally, my son tells me this all the time because he fancies himself a hobbyist neurobiologist. He tells me all of the time that the brain of someone who comes up with a thought like that is different from the thought of someone who says, let's build a soup kitchen and make sure no one goes hungry. Those are two different types of biochemistry at work. So no, you guys don't compare yourselves to the people that believe this stuff. They are not like what Kendrick Lamar said. They're not like us.
They're not like us.
They're not like us. So just realize that when you sit down and you apply your brain and your problem-solving capacity to understanding, you're going to have pain because your expectation for their humanity to be applied here is you're going to be failed every time, and you're going to end up very sad and depressed. Newsflash, we need you. Like, we need you because you guys are the vanguard, right? You understand what's happening. You understand it in the context of history. And last week, Randy came in and we were chatting, and, she reminded us, don't be afraid to use history as your backdrop, right? People need to understand that this isn't some wild thing that's happening out of the ordinary. This is the path that people take. They can't get satisfaction. Got to find someone to blame. We start looking for a scapegoat.
Yep.
The next thing you know, we've got populism. Populism isn't real. It's just the oligarchs trying to trick you into giving them more power so they can oppress you more. And please remember that is the context in which all of this is happening.
Right. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Give us a call at 813-239-9663. We're talking about chaos and oligarchy.
Calamity.
And the shambles of the Democratic Party. And let me give the Surly disclaimer. The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF.
Although we wish everyone
We wish everybody felt like us. Yeah. All right. Let's talk to William in Sarasota.
Hey, William.
Hi, William.
Hello.
Thank you for
Thanks
calling and
all
waiting.
The brilliant minds that I'm hearing.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks for the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
One of the things I really think of is like, why don't we just appropriate? We're using all these empire words.
Okay.
Empires have been destroyed in throughout millenniums. Now, when we look at what these folks are acting as, we have to say fallacy. Okay? Now, what do you do with a felon? These guys are doing what they please and not considering the law. They're figuring that they make the law.
Right. They're above the law.
Okay. So when we actually give them the appropriations of words of empire, we know what they have done to empires. So why aren't we taking care of that issue? We have the laws in place to take care of felons. They cannot be presidents. They cannot be leaders. They have to be learned how, whatever it takes to make them understand that they have to follow. It's not like a following. they have to desist from their destructive behaviors.
Well, and that's the problem right now, William, is nobody is stopping them.
Right.
And so, yeah, it would be great if Congress, had the courage to stand up and say, you can't do this. If anybody would stand up and say, you can't do this, anybody in a position of power, not,
Well, we got some judges out there. Joe Biden did appoint over 1,000 judges. I think the number I saw was between 1,300 and 1,500 judges into the circuit courts and the district courts. And so he appointed. So I believe that that's the only... I think he understood. I think he and the administration understood that if Trump were to win, that would be the only stop measure. And it seems to be working so far because Trump's lawyers, William, are doing a lot of shoddy lawyering. And I take back what I said because in the beginning I said, listen, I think that these guys are smarter. This girl, Susie Miles, his campaign manager, she seems to have, smoothed him out a little bit, as much as you can smooth out a raving, loon. That he seemed to be calmer. He seemed to be more lucid. There was less rambling. Mm-hmm. And I felt like they had a lot of time to plot their revenge and to come up with a game plan. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was going to see him come out really with these constitutional lawyers, these conservative constitutional lawyers who understood the law, and they were going to give us ironclad calamity. And it's not happening. Aren't you glad for that, William?
Yes, I am. I am.
I would like to raise it a little higher.
Okay, let's go.
A fallacy. Okay?
Okay.
We don't want to talk about the corruption included in the crimes committed.
Okay.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Especially against women. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yes.
And this brilliance of mind often doesn't come out of the male species. I'm ashamed to say this. Okay? So why are we standing aside and allowing such fallacy to go forth? It's worse than a felony.
Right. Thank you for giving us food for thought here, William.
In the so-called, what you call Muslim or Arab world, it's either a hand cut off, your head, or something else. It's like they terminate you because it's a crime against humanity.
Well, that's a generalization, but I get what you're saying. I get that you're saying there are consequences in some spaces.
Right. All right, I'm going to have to let you go now, William.
Give us a call back next week.
Yeah, give us a call next week, and thank you.
We'll be here.
All right. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Give us a call to join the conversation at 813-239-9663.
Now, we've laid out the collage of calamity, as one of our callers so comically stated. And we're laughing, but I think we all understand where we are. And I'm going to cop to the fact that I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I knew about Project 2025. I just didn't think they would go after Medicaid, Social Security. I thought there would be little cuts, little slivers. Oh, we're going to reduce your benefits by $12, right? Which most people can work with. But pausing the systems so that people are saying your surgery is being rescheduled because we couldn't get your payment through this morning, right? Or your approval. That's just chaos for the sake of itself. He's reaching over into the lane. There are three branches of government. They're supposed to check and balance each other. We learned this stuff in the 7th grade. And that was a lot of years ago. I won't tell you how many, but I remember it. That the way that our government works is Congress holds the purse strings. And when representatives from all 50 states decide that this is what we need, they come to some collective consensus, and we get what we get, right? Based on how well we're represented.
Right.
And then the president, at the executive branch does have the power of veto, but then there's the power of legislation. And we can make laws that the president can't veto a law. Now, we have a president that is trying to actively veto laws.
He
and the
vetoing, he's
Constitution.
just like slashing left and right. It's like fire sale.
I think I'm thinking about DeSantis because the hilarity of that. That was so great. He says, I'm going to institute Trump's plan. And the legislature, he's stacked all these people in there. They said, yeah, we'll pass. We'll commiserate amongst ourselves. And he's just like, you can't do that. You can't put the agricultural commissioner in charge of immigration and the ICE plan that Trump has given us. We have a mandate. And they said, no, thank you, though.
Yeah, bye.
And made their own law. And they said, no, we'll do it. Don't worry about it. Thank you, though. Shorty, take a break.
He talks more like this. He talks like Paul Lynde from Hollywood Squares when we were little.
And then he says he's going to veto them. And now he's fighting with, here's Trump, 30 felonies, 30 plus felonies.
Right.
Grab him by the hoo-ha guy, can get people to do whatever he wants. He doesn't get people with international degrees and educations to do whatever he wants. And Ron DeSantis can't even get the people down the street Tallahassee.
See, yeah. But the difference is Ron DeSantis is not a charismatic hypnotist like Trump is.
Not a calamity of collage of calamity, charismatic hypnotist. This is getting wild.
Let's do some emails.
Okay. I'm sorry for showing out this morning.
All right. So, and we laugh. We do laugh a lot on this show because we talk about serious topics. And it's not that we're laughing because of the seriousness of the topic.
It's the absurdity.
Right. And it's like, if you don't laugh, what are you going to do? Sit around crying? I mean, it's like you have to find the humor in some of this or else it's going to be real. I mean, January's been long enough. Dang, think 4 years from now. All right. So, emails. Tom in Lakeland, loving the conversation. Thank you, Tom. Karen in Dunedin says, I am no party, but I switch back and forth for the primaries. Yes, it's a pain, but it's my way of sticking my finger up to them, trying to restrict my vote. Thank you, Karen. And we have Daryl who says, I amazed that someone who has a platform is telling people to throw their vote away on a third party because they don't care. Well,
that's not what you said.
That's not what I said, Daryl. I said I am changing my party affiliation because I can no longer co-sign what the inept and hapless Democratic Party is doing. These are the people to thank for what we have in the White House today. No, that would be white women voting to keep their proximity to power. And
Latinos aligning themselves with power that they will not have access to in any significant numbers.
Yeah. Then again, I am sure Jill Stein or Cornel West will do something soon. Oh, yeah, both are MIA. We see them in 4 years.
Silent, radio silence.
Yeah. So what third party I join is my business, just as what party you join is yours.
Okay, well, let me wake that up.
I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything.
Well, let me wake that up a little bit. First of all, the assumption that by registering NPA, one is throwing away their vote. This simply means that you cannot vote in a primary. You have to be a registered member of either the Democrat or Republican Party in order to vote in a primary. This does not preclude you from voting in a general election, which you will have the choices that end up on the ballot. So we tell people, if you want to vote in the primaries, which is kind of pointless because the Democratic Party always stacks it against any of the candidates we actually want, so that we lose elections. And I'm going to say something about that. I know we only have like another 15 minutes, but it's presumptive, and I think that it's misinformation to say that someone is throwing their vote away and telling others to throw their vote away when nothing of the sort was said.
Right.
So we need to understand you can vote in the general elections. You cannot vote. We have closed primaries in the state of Florida, so you will not be able to vote in a primary unless you're registered as one of those two parties. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it means.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Let's see. This is a voice message. Oh, it's from Gemini. Hi, Gemini.
Hey, Gemini.
Great point about the brain matter. My therapist and I had a conversation about why it's so hard to understand why bad people do the things they do. And she said basically the same thing, because our character is wildly different. I can't possibly understand why they don't act to my values, which are common sense to me, and it's incredibly frustrating. But it's a reminder, since these values live in me, I have to be the one to act on them. Heart, Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. We have Fran coming on. Let's see. This one's from Alvaro. Good morning, Surly Voices.
No, I have an announcement I think that Alvaro wanted to make. I was going to have him come on, but I didn't get a written announcement in time to do that. And I just, here's the announcement that he wanted to make. Next Tuesday, February 4th, the AJF Foundation and the Tampa Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression will be holding a panel discussion entitled Organizing for Justice, Learn from Families and Survivors of Police Violence. Now, this event will be held at the, can we do that? Can I give the address?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the C. Blythe Andrews Public Library, which is a few blocks from WMNF, at 2607 East Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard from 6:30 to 8. The gathering will commemorate the life and legacy of Andrew Joseph III and others impacted by the police and systemic violence. And again, that's next Tuesday, February 4th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the C. Blythe Andrews Public Library at 2607 East Dr. Martin Luther King. The panelists include Andrew Joseph's parents, Miss Kiana Garrett, and Jasmine Smith. And there will be other survivors of the police violence attending the event. It's important that we keep our hand on the wheel of all of the things that we've been protesting about for the past 7 or 8 years. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Thank you, Alvaro.
All right. Fran in Largo. Hi, Fran.
Oh, hi there. Yes, first of all, I just want to thank you ladies for showing respect to us listeners because we're not getting any respect now from the people in office. They have no respect for the citizens of this country. They're just going and doing what they want to do selfishly. So it's just good to hear you ladies talking to us like human beings, thinking human beings. I know we don't have much time, and I didn't have a chance to call earlier, but I did want to bring up about what happened with veteran journalist Jim Acosta, how he was just ejected from by Trump. I think it's horrible. I wish he hadn't quit, though. I wish he had kept his. They wanted him to do a 12 midnight news show or something, but he just didn't want to do that. I hope he resurfaces someplace else. I hope we haven't heard the last of him. This is a decent journalist that we need desperately now, Jim Acosta. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fran.
Maria.
Jim Acosta now has a Substack and also a podcast on Substack. So go subscribe to it and support him. Just go to Substack, look him up, and subscribe to his daily newsletter and his podcast. I don't know that his podcast is daily, but he immediately jumped over to Substack.
Well,
and I applaud his courage because, I feel somewhat about Substack, but I am happy that he took a stand and basically told the truth and told people that CNN asked him to lie and he's not here for it. So, I mean, we need more journalists with courage like that.
Right.
We need
Because the
supporting.
mainstream media has totally sold out.
And
Totally.
for those of you who don't use Substack, any of you guys can create your own Substack and write things that the rest of us can read. If you are going to use that app, you simply download it, you create an account for yourself, and then you can post your thoughts. Generally, they're longer than what a Facebook post would be, and you'll find people like Chris Hedges, Michael Moore. Is Dr. West on, Dr. Cole?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He doesn't write. So, but
He reads a lot, though. You'll find very prolific public intellectuals that are going to help us work through this stuff and keep ourselves together over time. And when we come back, do we have a caller, Sierra Holding? But when we come back from Sierra, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, we've laid out the collage of calamity, how we survive this. Like, what are you going to be doing for your mental health, and what are you going to be doing in community over the next several years so that we come out of this with our hearts, most importantly, intact?
All right. Sierra in Tampa. How are you, Sierra?
Good morning, Early Voices. I am so grateful to hear you today. I wanted to share my story.
Okay.
I am Tampa born, third generation Plant High School alumni, and I've lived here my whole life. My entire family, most of my people I work with are all Trump supporters. They're all very much Christian, right-wing, conservative, and I am currently in a battle between Facebook and my family with spreading the truth and discerning from the lies. And I'm currently being censored on Facebook. All of my posts are being flagged, and my comments are being deleted as I write them because since the election, they have been censoring me in all of my posts. I am trying to get the information out there, but the only platform I have is Facebook. I don't really know where else to go. I've heard a couple suggestions while I was on hold, so I appreciate all the information you're sharing. I appreciate your show. I knew this was coming, and you all warned us this was coming. So now we have to stand together as a community and stand up for our rights, stand up for the rights of all Americans, because every American who is on this soil has rights. Whether they're here illegally or not, they still have rights. And it's important for us to share this information with the masses, so I just keep posting, keep sharing, keep speaking the truth, and I will not let anyone stop me. My voice will not be stopped. I had to listen to that man for 8 years, spread lies, so I will continue to spread the truth. So thank you, Starly Voices.
Are you on TikTok, Sierra?
I am. I downloaded the app, but I think I need to get on TikTok now.
Very quickly.
That's it.
Yeah,
All right.
it'll soothe you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Sierra. Bye-bye.
Bless you.
All right. Stephen in St. Petersburg. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, I was just listening to the show. I was actually working on something, but I thought I'd stop and give an opinion.
What a shock.
No, but anyway, it's the only way, because everybody and all these different talk shows and pundits and shows on the radio and so on, and people, we all talk about these issues and over the same broken record. But one thing historically in the United States of America that's always worked is civil disobedience. And we could talk about MLK and the getting equal rights for all, but in civil rights for black people. But when you look at labor, what always brought everybody together, no matter what color they were or what race they were, their ethnicity, was labor and organized labor unions. And the only way, these jokers that are running this country now, the only way that you're going to bring them to the negotiating table is real simple. Every Tesla worker, walk off the job. Every Amazon worker, walk off the job. Every Walmart worker, walk off the job. Every Home Depot worker, walk off the job. And the labor unions in this country could do it if they could organize, especially in the Confederate South, which still is the Confederacy, because of the wages that people are paid through the South. So that's the only way that you're going to change anything if you look through history. It's not taking up the gun and firing on your government. We know that doesn't work. It's going to be civil disobedience in love, in peace, Still respect those that rule over you. On the other hand, make your voice clearly that we're not going to take it anymore. And I guarantee you, the country will be brought to its knees in a snap of a finger if workers organize and walk off the jobs. Because if every Tesla worker tomorrow walked off the job, Elon Musk would be losing billions of dollars every day, or Amazon, or Walmart, or all these corporate power. That's where they have both parties in their pockets, and here we are, the common man, the worker, that needs to rise up.
Thanks so much for the thought, Stephen.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, you're...
and right, he's correct in theory.
In theory, yes.
Mm-hmm. But you know the problem, right?
Yes.
The problem is people already ain't got no eggs in their refrigerator.
Right.
For a host of reasons. One, that they're $13 a dozen. And two, that the bird flu is afoot.
Yes.
Right? No pun intended. And the unions have not, and I'm going to say the silent part out loud.
Say it, please, before I do.
Unions have been watered down and have been, my experience since I came back to Florida is that the larger the union, the more the complicit they are in silencing and suppressing or co-opting organic protest. Did I get it right, Dr. Cole?
100%.
Okay.
Plus, let's disabuse ourselves of the notion that that unions are a place for equity, because they historically have not welcomed Black people.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, let's disabuse ourselves of that notion. However, I will say that the lesson of protest and boycott was born out of the Montgomery boycott.
I was going to say
okay?
that. Mm-hmm.
And let's think about that, because, I did have people call me, particularly this week, talking about, well, maybe we should protest. I'm like, absolutely not.
Absolutely
protest
not.
with our money.
Right.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Protest with our money, right? And the thing that people don't realize, all of this mass deportation stuff, you think eggs are expensive now? Mm-hmm. In a month and a half, they are going to be $24 a dozen. Right? Because you have processing plants right now where people are not showing up to work because ICE is on their behind.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Let's pretend for a moment that we are all inextricably linked, whether we like it or not. Regardless of race, we are inextricably linked. And some people are just going to have to get over their racism and understand that this country only works when we are all working together. So yes, I fundamentally believe in protest, but what that protest means to me is boycotting all of these corporations and organizations that are linked with the oppressor.
Agree.
Absolutely.
And people are being tricked into believing that the plight of families is not inextricably linked to a woman's right to choose, that men are somehow not a part of that.
Right.
And that if you're a retiree, that somehow what's happening in our education system does not affect you, right? So that's the trick that's the Jedi mind trick that's being played on people. Everyone sees
but it shouldn't be. It's like common sense. Like if you're a retiree, you still need home health care.
Right.
You still need nurses. You still need a respiratory therapist.
Right.
Come on. The notion that we can extract ourselves, you know what? And that was the thing. It's it's not even about whether or not where you're going to buy your eggs. It's about having your own chickens at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It has to be about mutual aid. It has to be about understanding and protecting one another and making sure that everybody who's here, right? And it's easy for them. They know what they're doing, and we need to start looking at what they're doing, because today they're talking about trans rights and bathrooms, and we care too much about that. Once they pick off trans people because they're the smallest minority of the group, and then they start going after undocumented people because they're the next smallest part of the group. Right?
Yep.
Right.
Until they pick one off, and they pick off the next one, and they pick off the next one until there's nobody left.
Right.
And we need to wake up.
I've seen that before.
All right. So Frank just gave me the finger, which means it's time to go. Thank you so much for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Please join us next week at 10 a.m.
We'll be back with some creative solutions.
Yeah.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula.